The movie begins with Celine, a divorced art gallery owner living in Los Angeles. And just like every other case of how relationships ends, it's not you, it's me, Celine's divorce is entirely on them, not her. She also has a daughter, Izzy, who's just finished her junior year in school and moves around with her friends. Anyway, Celine's fast approaching 40, and while she plans a solo camping trip, her ex-husband, Daniel, takes their daughter, Izzy, and her friends to Coachella. After she drops them off, we see the ex, Daniel, who's a bit of a jerk, inviting her for lunch sometime in the house where he now lives with another woman. Feeling uneasy, Celine bails on him as fast as she could. At home, she prepares herself for the trip while playing a solo role in her mirror, and the next minute, the kids returns because Daniel got an urgent call from work and so he cannot take them to the show anymore. Left with no choice, Celine cancels her trip and offers to take the kids to the show, anything for their daughter, right? However, Daniel has arranged for a meet and greet with boy band August Moon, which their daughter is no longer a fan of, but he doesn't know, cause he hasn't taken notice of a lot going on in her life lately. When they arrive Coachella, the kids goes to look around while Celine goes to wait in the VIP area. After a brief chat with a lady, she gets the direction of the bathroom and goes for it. Celine enters what she believes is a bathroom, and after a minute, she comes face to face with Hayes Campbell, a member of the August Moon band. They flirt for a while, and Celine tells him she accompanied her daughter for the show because her ex bailed last minute. Feeling somewhat relieved that she isn't with someone, but doesn't show it, he pushes the chat further before Jody, the band's manager, interrupts, and Celine knows exactly when to leave. At the meet and greet, Izzy and her friends meets the band, and in that moment, Hayes asks Celine her name before they leave to perform. During August Moon's performance, Hayes seemingly changes the show set list, and he tells the crowd that he met a woman tonight and so he'd be dedicating a song to her, and while he performs, Celine is in awe, but keeps it together. Later that night, Celine attends her birthday party where several men her age attempts to ask her out, but she finds herself not being attracted to any of them due to her trust issues. Sometime later, Hayes shows up unannounced at Celine's gallery. Surprised, he tells Celine of his empty huge flat in London that could use some artwork, which is why he's here. It's also hard not to notice the paparazzi outside because of him too. After he proceeds to buy every piece in the gallery and complains he needs more, not because he does, but because he wants to spend more time with her, Celine takes him to a friend's warehouse studio, where they discuss life and art further. Later, he tells her that he's hungry, and after they contemplate going to his hotel to make an order or try a restaurant, Celine opts to make him a sandwich at her place. When they get there, they discuss about their personal lives for a moment, and Celine gets to tell him how her ex-husband cheated on her with a co-worker from his firm, which is why she now has trust issues. Hayes finds his way to the piano later, and the melody creates a romantic ambience. They begin to make out, but Celine fights it, seeing that she could be his mother. Hayes drags her back at intervals until she eventually resists him politely. Before he leaves, he keeps his watch somewhere and gets away with his driver. Just then, her daughter arrives and wonders if she's high or something before going in to pack for camp. After Celine drops her at the camp, she gets a text that afternoon from Hayes, who got her number from the gallery invoice, telling her he cannot stop thinking about their kiss, and further convinces her to come see him in New York. When she arrives New York at night and goes to Hayes' hotel, they talk for a second and proceed to have sex. They have an even better time afterwards, and Hayes convinces her to travel with him on August Moon's European tour, even though Celine is concerned about what people will say when they see them together. The next day on board, he introduces her to everyone as his art consultant, and Celine wishes to keep their relationship private and does not tell Izzy or anyone else. She spends time with him throughout the tour, and in an eatery in Paris, Hayes kisses her, and it gets caught on camera by someone. There, he tells her about this house he and Ollie rented for a vacation. In the rented house, she watches the guys have fun, but gets uncomfortable when she sees the younger girls that came with them. Seeing nature cannot be cheated also, she goes on to meet them, and in the course of the chat, she learns that Hayes had been with an older woman before her. She gets in and begins to pack her bag to leave, and while he tries to let her know that he feels something for her, she refuses to accept it and leaves for Los Angeles. Daniel, who has heard about Celine's relationship, questions her about it, but she denies that she and Hayes were together and that he was just a big client. Later that day, she gets a text from Hayes telling her to stay off the internet, but out of curiosity, Celine checks and realizes there are paparazzi photos of the relationship which has surfaced online, causing Celine to attract large amounts of unwanted attention. When she goes to pick Izzy up at camp, a few people approach her with either compliments or disgust, and Izzy is furious at having been lied to, but forgives her mother. She also encourages her mum to get back with Hayes because he's a kind feminist and because her mom likes him. Celine goes to a recording studio where Hayes is working, and after she apologizes for the way she treated him in Paris, she lets him know that it doesn't have to end, but Hayes tells her he needs a moment to think about it. In a few seconds, he thinks about it and they rekindle their relationship, and without caring about anyone, they begin to date publicly. Sometime later, Daniel comes to take Izzy to school, and after exchanging words with Hayes, he questions Celine about the relationship's effect on Izzy with the paparazzi and all that, but Celine lets him know that Hayes' security is protecting them. After he takes Izzy to school, Hayes informs her of an urgent situation that he needs to attend to, and she lets him go. Later that day, she goes to pick up Izzy from school, and Izzy angrily explains to her how bad her day was due to the other students attacking her and her mum. She also asks to be dropped in her dad's place that day. When Hayes returns from New York, Celine ends the relationship again, and Hayes wonders why she won't fight for their relationship, but she lets him know she has to put her daughter first. Later that night, he returns to her house, and they tearfully confess their love for each other, and Hayes proposes that they resume their relationship in 5 years once Izzy is finished with school. Because by then, he'd be a celebrity that no one cares about anymore, but Celine asks him to take a shot at happiness as he finds it because 5 years is long. He again leaves his watch with her before leaving her house, and Celine cries. 5 years later, we see that Izzy is now living in Chicago and is doing pretty well for herself. That night, Celine watches Hayes perform on TV in a popular show, and during the interview, he tells the host that he'd be taking a break to Los Angeles because there's someone he'd like to see there. Sometime later in Celine's gallery, she feels Hayes is close but doesn't know what to make of it. And after a while in her office, she hears his voice and comes out to see Hayes, who's actually gotten less attention on himself now. No flashing lights, no paparazzi, just a simple celebrity, and for a moment, they stare at each other tearfully. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and do tell what you think about it in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.